Now, another thing that I also loved about here was obviously the bathroom, but this bathroom is nice with having 2 bathrooms. But if you go up, now, okay, I'm gonna talk to you. Well, we have reached the conclusion of this back-to-back on Mariner of the Seas, 4 nights and 5 nights, totaling 9 nights. Now, here's what we've learned. Here's what we liked and didn't like, especially with the back-to-back we did on Freedom out of Miami for 7 days total. So we learned some lessons from that one. We're gonna pass these lessons on to you now in this video. And if you were watching the series of vlogs from this cruise, you will know that we got 2 connecting rooms. We both had our own room. And we had, of course, connecting rooms in Freedom because we had kids, but it was only us. Go watch the embarkation day, the very, very first video from the Mariner series, and I'll explain why in that video we have 2 separate cabins. But boy, I tell you, having 2 separate cabins was really nice. Like, what do you think?
Game changer.
Game changer. Now, of course, we mostly slept in this room.
I let him come over.
Yeah, so I had to like knock on the door and like beg her to let me in. But we only slept on this bed once. Only once. We've only slept there. But the one cool thing I liked about the back-to-back on this one was this room, we had the air cranked. Like you can see it here. This air is cranked. Now, in the other room, this was the hot room. We literally have the air or the heat all the way maxed out. One of the benefits of that was we were able to dry our clothes a lot quicker. So I've said this in one of my videos with as far as like tips and tricks and things. When you're in this cabin and let's say you have wet clothes, you come back from an excursion, or maybe you're at the pool deck, maybe you worked out, whatever, and your clothes are wet. I know a lot of people love the AC, they love it cold, like blast it. But the downside is your clothes will never dry like this. So it was amazing for us to actually have this room. We use this room to dry a lot of the wet clothes, and they got dry much faster. I remember I had a shirt in here 2 days and it was still like soaking wet. And I turned the heat down. Another reason I love it is we have double the storage space. It was just absolutely amazing. Another thing with it as well is we have 2 bathrooms. So coming back from excursions and on the 5-day portion of this trip, we had the ultimate dining package.
We have like an hour to get ready.
Yeah, we were ripping and running and we were doing a lot on the ship, which didn't give us much time to get ready. And us having 2 bathrooms was a game changer. We were able to get ready that much quicker because you know how the female persuasion can be when getting ready for any event. All right, now tell me anything that you disliked about this back-to-back.
Dislike?
Yeah, any dislikes? I mentioned this before on the Freedom video, the redundant itinerary. It can become a bit redundant when you talk about the stuff to do on board or even just the itinerary of the port stops. Now, this was 9 days. We only did 3 port stops. Now, of course, you going in, you're going to know this, and that's one of the downsides. You're not going to be able to go, like you would think doing a 9-day sailing, you're going to go to all these different places, but you're kind of like locked into the itinerary. And if it's something that you don't really care for or like, you may not like this because it's like, dang, how many times have I been to Cozumel or just pick a place, you know, that a ship goes to out of a common area, like a popular cruise port like Miami or Galveston or something like this. So that can be a downside. Here's a tip though. And we did this, obviously. So on the 4-day, we just enjoyed the main dining. We watched majority of the shows on the 4-day portion. And we were just like show addicts on the 4-day. But on the 5-day, we had the ultimate dining package. So it mixed up the whole...
It felt like different, like the whole experience was different.
Exactly. So like one person was saying like, oh, you should have known that. But here's a piece of advice for you guys doing back-to-backs. Mix up the itineraries with as far as the stuff that you do. Like maybe book an ultimate dining package, maybe do different experiences, like save some other things for the other cruise so it can just seem a little bit fresh. Another tip about Mariner, I'm going to show you guys something because a lot of people complain about the lack of, if I can get past the alcohol and the junk, this. You only get 2 outlets. And of course you get the European adapter, which I recommended you bring them to a degree, but Here's a little tip. Can you hold this a bit? No, come close. So one cool thing about, okay, all right. One cool thing about Mariner is people don't realize on these phones here, I'm gonna show you guys, it has a USB connector right there. So you could just bring your iPhone charger or Samsung, whatever you have, and charge. Simply, look, watch. I'm gonna plug this in.
Thanks, my master.
Don't ask, guys. Don't ask. But yeah, this works. You see, my phone is charging. You see the green there? It is charging. Boom. Easy money. And here's another trick. On these TVs, it has a USB plug right there. This only works when the TV is turned on. So if the TV is turned off, this hack is not going to work as far as you wanting to charge something. So we're going to plug that in here before we turn the TV on. So you can see, here we are. We're gonna plug this in. As you can see, it's not charging. Now she's gonna turn the TV on. And there you have it. You see, power's on. Give it a second. There it is, charged.
Thanks, my master.
Don't ask, please. This phone is charging, as you can see right there. Now turn the TV off. It is going to go away. There you go. You have 2 places to charge phones here on Mariner. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, someone taking my plugs. That's if you only get 1 cabin. Because this is an older ship. There are no USB plugs by the sides of the beds. It just is what it is. So that's a hack for you. That'll give you 2 extra charging options. Here in Cafe Promenade, another thing that will help you guys on the back-to-back is, and one thing that's great here on Mariner, and that's the staff. The staff is amazing. The people are very friendly. And I would recommend, because if you're doing a back-to-back on Mariner out of Galveston, you're going to be on here a minimum of 9 days. If you do more, that's great. But one thing I would say, get to know the staff, because if you're going to be on the ship this long, like you really want to get to know them. Yeah, they're going to become friendly. Now with us, we're actually going to be on this ship, what, December, January, next September. So get to know the people here, the staff. They're very friendly, and you're going to see them so much. They're going to get to know you. They're going to see you like, oh, hey. And
they know you by name.
Yeah, and talk to the people. You know, don't be shy. You know, put yourself out there. I know a lot of people are just weird these days, but yes, go out and have fun. That's what this is all about. You're on vacation, for crying out loud. It's a cruise. It's meant to be fun. There's a party almost every hour of the day somewhere on the cruise. But the staff and the people, absolutely amazing. Another thing about the back-to-back, as we walk back to our room, it's only fitting that we talk about this now, is room placement. Now, you need to figure out, and I did a ship tour to Mariner. You can go watch it or watch someone else's ship tour. You don't have to be on, whatever. But ship placement is very important. If you're going to be in here, again, minimum 9 days, maybe even more, you need to pick the right cabin. Now, of course, the advice is always the same. Pick a cabin in which you know where you're most likely going to spend most of your time. Like if you spend most of your time on the pool deck, go up higher. If you know you like to hang out on the promenade, like the 4th deck where, you know, the Royal Theater is, or Studio B, there, stay near decks 3 through 6, 7. We're on 6. This is our room right here. Definitely you want to stay on a deck where you're really close to a lot of the action, especially if you're gonna be on this ship on a back-to-back. Now, one other thing too is, this ship isn't huge, so don't fret when we say like, oh, you gotta pick the right cabin. The deck choice, that could be primo, but as far as the location, if you talk about forward, mid, aft, getting from forward to aft on this ship was not hard at all. You can walk forward or aft in not too much time. Like you could be in a rush somewhere and you can easily get forward to aft very easy versus like a Freedom class or an Oasis class ship. One cool thing that I liked about this back-to-back compared to the one on Freedom, we didn't have to get off the ship. The border, customs, immigration, whatever, he actually came on into the Star Lounge, and then we just did a little loop, and then boom. And it made the process that much easier doing a back-to-back here out of Galveston. Now, if you've done back-to-backs out of Galveston, let me know in the comments if you've actually had to get off of the ship and which ship. because I don't know if that's just protocol for Galveston or not. And here's another thing that I loved about this back-to-back on Mariner, and that was having the same stateroom. I cannot emphasize that enough. Pick the same stateroom. You do not want to change cabins. Go watch the back-to-back video I did on Freedom. It was not fun. The idea of living out your suitcase, on this one it's a little longer, you get 2 extra days, but it was not fun living out my suitcase for 3 days, then having to go to another room and knowing that in 4 days you're going to leave, so you really don't want to unpack. Now I know some of you might say, oh, get packing cubes. I don't like packing cubes. When I'm on vacation, especially a long extended one, what I prefer to do is this. Use these things and completely unpack like you're at home. And that's what I did throughout this cruise, of course. I'm packed up. I'm ready to go tomorrow. But the ability that I had to unpack and just literally dump out everything and live like I'm actually living on the cruise ship, like I'm at my house, that was priceless. Hey, what do you think? Did you like this as well?
Oh, what?
Being able to fully unpack?
Oh, yes, yes. All clothes hanging, everything is unwrinkled, and it's just at home. You open your closet and you're ready to go in a second.
Exactly. And by the way, we have reservations at Azumi Hibachi. That's why you saw the wardrobe change here. And one thing she just reminded me of is the people. I talked about this in the other video of Freedom with the back-to-back, and that's out of Miami, of course. In Freedom, you got a lot of Latinos on that 3-night. And if you don't like Latinos or you don't like that type of vibe, don't go on that 3-night. Just go on the 4. And I don't want to say the same here because I need a bigger sample size. If anyone who has sailed on Mariner for a 4-night sailing, in the comments, please help me. Were there a lot of Indian people on your sailing? Because on the 4-day sailing, there were tons of Indian people. And I was trying to ask other Indians on board, like what's going on? Is there a convention, or is there some sort of thing going on, a conference, or this is a group cruise or something? There were so many Indian people on the 4-day portion. Now, I don't know if, I hear there are a lot of Indian people moving to Austin. There's a big Indian population in Dallas where I live. I don't know if there's a big Indian community somewhere near Galveston or in Texas, but there were tons of them here on the 4-day sailing. And on the 5-day sailing, there are some Indians, but nowhere near as many as there were on the 4-night sailing. And that's not a good or bad thing. I'm just warning you as what to expect potentially. But if someone who has gone on a 4-night out of Galveston on Mariner, can you attest to that? Yay or nay? Did you have a lot of Indians on your sailing? Here's a little tip on Mariner. If you ever walk down the hall and you're lost, which you probably shouldn't be, but if you are, you'll notice all of the room tags are shaped like this little wave. If you're walking and you see the wave pointing down, that means you're walking aft. And if you're walking this way and you see the wave going up, that means you're going to the forward of the ship. So, little tip on how to navigate a ship. And if I remember correctly, all of the ships on Royal, or at least a good majority of them, have these waves. So if you ever get on a bigger ship and you get lost, that's one way to tell if you're going forward or aft. And also in some ships there are little details on the carpet as far as the fish running a certain way, but this one on Mariner there are not. So one thing on the back-to-back that we noticed on this one, Mariner versus Freedom, the 5 and the 4-night crowd not as turned up as a Freedom of the Seas crowd, because Freedom on the 3-night, the promenade was packed till 3 a.m. You can see here, I'm in the promenade right now. It's right behind me. There's hardly anyone in here, and it is 12:18. So not a whole lot of action going on in here through the promenade. To go along with the people on what you can expect, or at least what we experienced here on Freedom in this back-to-back, was the 4-night crowd. It was a little younger than the 5-night crowd. It was more turned up in the club, right?
Yes.
Yeah, some of these public venues, they were more packed. It seemed like there were less kids on the 4-night than the 5-night. It seemed like at least to me, did you seem like on the 5-night there were more kids?
I don't think so. On the 4-night, a lot of Indian family had a lot of little kids.
Yeah, but it seemed like there were a lot of kids on this one. But yeah, so what you can expect is, it's like anything with any shorter cruise. The shorter the cruise, the more party atmosphere is going to be. So if you if you're looking for that out of Galveston, I would say go for the 4-night.
4-night, if they have anything 3-night.
Yeah, especially if it spans through the weekend, you know, you're gonna get that much more of an atmosphere. And like I said earlier, the 5-night people, I could tell the crowd was older as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Even
so
the younger crowd, they just want to chill.
yes,
Not that turning up.
yeah. So like some of the game shows, it was more rowdier with the younger people, like Crazy Quest and a few other games. But nevertheless, I mean, both fun cruises. Just depends on how you want to cruise. You know, you do the 4-night, have more fun, a little bit shorter, only one stop, cool. If not, you do the 5-night.